What is up, you guys? It's your boy JR, back at it again with another video here at photographycourse.net, and today we're going to be talking about interior photography. Real estate photography usually focuses on showcasing how big or grand a room is, while interior photography focuses on the details that you have on a specific room. And here at photographycourse.net, we're giving 9 tips on how you could capture amazing interior photos. Tip number 1, use natural light. Light bulbs usually cause shadows that would be unpleasant to the eyes, so as much as possible, you use natural light for that. So usually, the best time to take interior photos would be during the daytime or at noon. But if ever you really need to take photos at night, or if you don't have enough natural light coming in, you could use artificial light. So tip number 2, if you need to use artificial light, make sure that you're using LED lights. Now the good thing about LED lights is it mimics natural sunlight. So that means even if it's on your photo, it will not create unwanted yellow hues in your photo and definitely would not cast that much of a shadow. Tip number 3, if you're using a different light source and you really have shadows that you can't get rid of, one thing you could do is to bounce off the light. You could use reflectors or shoot through umbrellas to make sure that the lighting is equally distributed inside the room, therefore eliminating shadows. Tip number 4, this is a basic to everyone who wants to capture amazing photos. Always shoot in RAW. RAW settings gives you the most flexibility in post-process production. You're able to control a lot of aspects of the photo compared to JPEG photos. So always shoot in RAW. This particular tip is not only applicable to interior photography, but all kinds of photographies. Make it a habit that if you have RAW settings in your camera, make sure to put it on RAW. Tip number 5, you want to make sure that you have the correct aperture settings. The best aperture settings for interior photography would be around f8 to f16. If your aperture is too low, it would tend to blur some parts of the photo and just focus a small bit of it. So make sure your aperture settings would be around f8 to f16. That would give you a sharp look all around the photo. Tip number 6 would be your shutter speed and ISO settings. When you are taking photos of rooms that are in low light condition, you have to make sure that your shutter speed would be a lot slower. Typically, you would go for 2 seconds to 8 seconds if your aperture is around f8 or f16, but if your shutter speed is that slow, it would tend to be blurry, or it is prone to what we call motion blur. Now, in order for us to eliminate that, what you have to do is set up a tripod so that you are 100% guaranteed that there would be no motion blur. Even if your hands are not shaky at all, you cannot rely on your hands, especially if your shutter speed would be that slow. If your camera is remote control operated, make sure to use the camera so it doesn't create a motion blur when you press the shutter. Or if your camera is not remote control operated, put your camera on timer for about 2 seconds. So when you press it, it would not capture the image right away. It would give you a countdown of 2 seconds before it starts processing. Now, as for your ISO settings, if you're shooting at low light, you might want to go for a higher ISO so that it will be a lot more exposed. But the problem with the higher ISO setting is that your photo tends to be noisy. Now, there are a lot of cameras right now that could go as high as 32,000 or 64,000 ISO, but if you don't have that, always stick to a longer shutter speed instead of increasing your ISO. So tip number 7 is you want to shoot straight. Never shoot interior photographs in an angle. You want to give off that natural look when you're taking photos as if it's on the eye level of the person looking at your photo. You could either do it on your eye level or waist level. What you have to make sure though is it's straight. You can use the grid on your camera's viewfinder to make sure that you are shooting straight. This allows a better composition and it's easier for you to crop the photo in post-production. Tip number 8 is for you to create depth in the room. One strategy of creating depth in the room is by taking a photo at a corner instead of facing a wall. Now you want to make sure that you remove any clutter in the room. We don't want to put too many items in a particular spot because it would tend to be a distraction instead of a design. Tip number 9 is for you to not go wide. In real estate photography, we often go for that dramatic wide shots. Now, for interior photography, it's the other way around. You want to take a tighter shot. So in terms of camera lens, it's best not to go beyond 24mm. Bonus tip for interior photography, you might want to bracket your photos. For those of you who doesn't know what bracketing is, it's actually taking the same photo 3 times on different exposure levels. So the first one would be a lower exposure, so it could kill off all the highlights, and then your mid exposure so that it would give it a balanced look, and then your high exposure so it could kill all the shadows. Now what you can do is when you bracket this and combine them into an HDR photo, your photo would be balanced out. So that is it for today. If you want to know more about photography, make sure to subscribe to our channel. If you like this video and found it helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Or if you have other tips for other photographers about interior photography, you could drop it on the comment section below. You can also go ahead and check out our website, photographycourse.net, for more tips and tutorials about photography.